So I've got one major takeaway after watching Charles Grant. Why the heck am I not mocking this guy inside the top 50? I don't even hate the idea of mocking this guy in the first round. This is the guy that we need to start talking about way more. It's Charles Grant from William and Mary. I want to break this guy down, talk about the good and the bad. There's a lot of good to go over. There's some things he's going to have to work on, no doubt about it. But a small school guy that has big time playmaking upside in your offense as that left tackle of the future. Okay, let me show you what's going on here. Why I like Charles Grant so much as we get into the film here. The first thing that you're really going to notice with Charles Grant, not just the overall size dimension, because he has 34 and 3/4 inch arms and a 10-inch hand plus inch hand, which is great, but it's the athleticism. And it's not just the athleticism either, because he's super explosive and has all those things. It's the redirecting skills. It's the agility. Those things to me are more important, if anything, than just straight up explosiveness as well. Like if you can move laterally as a tackle when you're on an island, be able to plant your foot and move laterally side to side, those things are critical versus speed, quicker, twitchier rushers. If not, you're going to get your face crossed continually. And Grant is going to be exceptional at that. And while there are some core strength issues, we'll talk about some of those things here in a little bit with his power profile. He still is a very strong player. He's got vice grips, man. He is strong with his hands. He's a formula wrestler, and I love those wrestling backgrounds, and it shows up 100%, especially in the run game when we get into some of that film. But as you see in pass protection, just the ease of movement skills with him, he is moving like a tight end out here. That's how easy. And honestly, you can make the argument he moves better than some of these tight ends out in the NFL. He is that literally laterally twitched up and really ready to go with all that. Now, some hand placement stuff, we continue to work on that. That's something where he does get a little wide. And even in the run game, too, I think his hands at the second level can get a little boxed out and sort of reaching and grabbing, maybe gets called for more penalties. But what I love about him as we get into this run footage, it's not just the athleticism and the ability to, and there shows off that redirect ability that he has, that plant and go. I mean, that's like a running back type out there to see. But he is able to really get on to defenders and just kind of turn them at will with his grip strength and then with his mover ability. So he is so good with his general feel of where his running back or his ball carrier is coming from and being able to work that ball carrier inside or outside depending on how the run is going, if that makes any sense. But he's very good at this type of stuff. And as you continue to watch the film, you're going to see him go through some of those things. Here's another one, just kind of subtlety, but he's opening up those big lanes for the running back. And it is smaller competition. That's something that you have to know with him is you're going in FCS level. So it's not the FBS. You're not going against the Alabamas, the Georgias, and I totally understand that. But I can't knock him for just dominating the film that he shows out here. And if nothing else, like if you're at the FCF level, you need to dominate. He did, and he does dominate. And that's critical. That's really the only evaluation that I can put him on. Here he's just walling off defenders once again. It's what he does. And here's his feel kind of for that ball carrier behind him, and he just knows where it's going on. That's something that is a little underrated as a run blocker, and I think he does so well. And I also think that while he may not have the greatest play strength, he can move guys. He's got good leg drive in the run game. And as you see some of the stuff we get in some of the negative reps, these are all the negative reps that I saw from watching the film. There's not many, I'll be honest. He lost a couple. Here's a little bit of like play strength showing some maybe a little bit of pop. He doesn't have the greatest maybe overall strength there. And I did see him lose a couple of times to the inside. I saw him lost twice there on rushers countering his face. So that's something to point to note. This is the only second level block that I saw him lose. And here's one where he kind of gets a little upright. And this is something I saw on him a couple of games where I think his leverage, and it's still something he needs to work on. See how high he is right there? Those are some things he can work on. So in summary, Charles Grant, the left tackle at William and Mary, 6'4", 7/8", just under 6'5", 311 pounds is what he measured in at the combine. Those are solid numbers. Ideally, you get up maybe to like 320, and he can add like 10 more pounds of muscle mass. And that's something when you get into an NFL team, you give him a full year in a strength program, he's going to add some more muscle mass. He has already gained like 70 pounds since coming on campus at William and Mary. That's incredible. He came in at like 240. He's up to 311 now. The dude has been working at his craft continually, and a guy that you look at all the athletic traits, he is one of the better athletes in this entire draft class at the tackle position. He is one of the better agility guys in this tackle class. The way he moves from side to side is excellent. And you combine that with his length profile. I have 34 and 3/4 inch arms, a 10 and 1/4 inch hands. Those are plenty. Those are all good numbers in the NFL. Definitely, they're up there, with Teron Armstead's. In terms of like a one-to-one comparison, I kind of give him a little bit of a Teron Armstead. I think Armstead's a little stronger coming out, but I do think that Grant has all that upside and ability. And you look at the hand technique that's gotten better, and I have watched him in 2023 to this 2024 tape as well. And I thought his hand technique made significant strides year over year. And that's one thing I want to note as well. Like, he's not perfect with his hand technique. Sometimes he does get a little wide. We pointed that out in his film. Overall, though, I think in general, like, he's got some pretty good hand technique and some good placement already to go. And as a fifth-year guy, it shows out there. He's put work and he's put time into his craft, and he looks pretty dang good with his hand placement in general, especially as a pass protector. And his balance is also very good. I did not see this guy on the ground very often. I think I saw him on the ground 2 times, literally like 2 or 3 times on his entire film breakdown. Very, very good. He stays upright. He's under control. And he only missed one second level block that I could see, like, particularly. Like, maybe he missed a couple slightly, but overall, like, he was at a 80% clip of hitting the second level landmark. That's how good he was at the second level. Zone teams, take note. You are going to want this guy. Hey, if you're in a gap scheme, I don't think he can't work out in that either, because he's strong and he's going to continue to add more play strength. And he certainly has the grip strength and the power profile and the leg drive to do anything with the movement skills and gap runs and stuff like that. So he can figure that out. I like him, of course, in a zone blocking scheme with the athleticism. You want to take advantage of that. And he certainly has the effort to combine with all this ability to his game. I love the wrestling background. I mentioned that earlier. That is something in offensive lineman. You see these guys, most recently like Zach Frazier. It benefits you so, so much. Now, weaknesses wise, yeah, is he a little undersized to talk about that? He's still going to add more core strength. His pad level was a little high at times, and in certain games especially, I felt like his pad level rose a little bit more. These stronger guys are going to take advantage of that. They're going to be able to bull rush you a little bit. Those longer arm defenders maybe will rock him back a little bit more. So those are some things he continued to add more play strength, work on getting down at the knee bend. I did see him do a better job of, though, especially at the end of the season, right when you go into like the Campbell game or finishing off Richmond. He did get injured in the Richmond game. He's okay. He should be full. He said he's ready to go now and he's back to 100%, but just something to keep an eye on. Overall, he's been reliable too throughout his career. And then lastly, yes, I did see him lose some occasional reps to the inside. I saw him lose 2 to the inside. That was a point of emphasis and something I think he can continue to work on, which is overall technique issues. But that's not anything that like screams, oh my goodness, this guy can't do anything like the next level. He's going to get exposed or anything like that in his hands. We talked about that. Overall, my grade for Charles Grant, late first round. And what I mean by that is I don't have him a true first round grade, because I don't know if he's a day one right away starter. There are still some limitations and some areas he needs to improve upon. But I'm cool if you're the Chiefs or the Eagles and you want to get a developmental tackle that you feel has an insane upside. And I don't think that he can't start early on in his career. Like, I really don't believe that he can't, because I actually think he's a pretty nuanced guy at this point in his career. I know he's going to get the FCS label, which always means you're a raw prospect. I don't actually see that on film. Of course, there's some things you need to work on, but every offensive tackle and offensive lineman or player has something to work on. So that's why I'd be cool with him if he had to start early on his career. Just ideally, I give him a late first round grade, early second round grade, because you're going to a team that maybe doesn't need you to come on the football field right away. Maybe you can take half the season or even a full year if you're given luxury, but half a season would be fine, or give more competition. I would talk about with the Chiefs for like a Jalen Moore or something like that, or long term for them at the right tackle position, Jawan Taylor, maybe the last year for him. Those are all possibilities, teams that he could land at that I think would be really, really good for him to go to. Now, he doesn't necessarily have to start right away, but he could if you have injuries or bad play on the field. Then you go ahead and rock with Charles Grant, because I think he's certainly a guy that can play and contribute early on in his career with his experience and already his technical know-how. Got to improve, get some more strength profile. Maybe there's some rough edges like Roger Rosengarten had early on in his career, but I think he can really get going and hit the ground running quickly rather than later. So that's why I'm giving him a late first, early second round grade and a top 50 stamp of approval. I'm taking this guy early in the draft. I'm a huge fan of Charles Grant. William and Mary, let me know what you think, agree or disagree on him. But I'm really excited to see where he ends up going and going to be rooting for this guy. Dude has a monster upside.